Okay, we got Derrick, aka RPG Master, playing Tenri in the blue versus TimeKey playing Twins in the default color. I'm just gonna quickly update stuff at the top, and this is Kill the Light, so we're gonna be commentating a fog match. There were some issues with this texture metal where the first version of the map that people were playing on had an item on it, which was causing a bunch of desync bugs and some other problems. So the map maker, who is actually Derrick999, kindly updated the map so people could play on it. And I think we're actually going to use it again next month, but we're going to use a version that's similar to this, which doesn't have the issues of the first one.
Oh, was that village not capped the first time? It's at
Yeah,
5
I
health.
thought it was like a desync bug, but no, it looks like it just wasn't capped.
Yeah, a misclick there costing 100 gold.
Wait, I'm just thinking about it. Tenri can groove a Kraken in the middle.
I feel like Tenri is just in general insanely strong in fog, because like how are you supposed to predict? Like you just have to assume they always have a dragon somewhere, you know?
Yeah, or like one of the many other units that are very strong in fog.
Yeah, or like Knight, right? Knight, other common one that you have a ton of.
One of the units that are very strong. Period.
You could actually. This is one of the cases where you can do like legit thief shenanigans as well. So you could like use a thief on a stronghold and then get it back to safety.
With Tenri, yeah.
Or you can
I mean,
throw a thief at like your opponent's like barracks or something and potentially get something.
that'd be silly. That's some silly mode right there.
You say all these things, but twins are probably still just better, right?
Oh yeah, just throwing down a ton of fire is pretty good too.
Yeah.
It's pretty impressive. It means you don't die, right? Or well, forces them out at the very least.
And a bunch of grooves get nerfed in fog because you need to see what you're hitting, right?
Yeah, Wolfar is a
yeah.
lot weaker in fog because of that.
But twins, I think, just need to see where they place the emblem. But the fire can hit a bunch of stuff that you can't see, so it's like pretty easy to play. Just throw it down, and then it might even get more value than you think it gets.
Imagine if you threw it down and it just ended the game, and you were just like, "What happens?"
Oh, there's a low HP here? I didn't know.
Yeah. Like your opponent walks back and doesn't heal, or like only heals like a tiny bit or something, and you just like don't notice. You just throw down the fire anyway and it wins. That would be funny to see, but yeah, there's a lot of like potential funny shenanigans that can happen in fog because of stuff like that. Alright, so yeah, just Tenri putting some pressure on the sides. Gonna eat a little bit of counter attack damage, but yeah, Mountain Commander is not gonna worry too much about that. Oh, Derrick apparently didn't even see that? Okay. Knights have very, very low vision, so that makes sense.
Can I just complain? Because like when I try to use rifles in fog, they get killed before they get one hit off. And when other people use rifles in fog, it's like just looks amazing because like your opponent doesn't know where it is.
I mean, maybe you just suck at fog.
Oof.
I mean,
Chill match when Mastro versus Saykoya now.
I mean, maybe it'll happen in the open, not in fog though.
yeah. I'm not gonna play Wargroove Fog. Not interested.
It's pretty fun though.
I had fun mapping for that one thing. I remember out of ego I made a map because Faded said there wasn't enough maps. Or like said I couldn't make a good one and I made like a solid one or whatever. Just to prove a point.
Maybe you just got out to play it psychologically. Maybe that was, his plan the whole time.
True.
There is something to be said about, taunting people is a good way to get them to do stuff.
Yeah.
Up there
Social
with
manipulation. Let's go.
yeah, there was a trick I used to use before I realized I was kind of a terrible person for doing this, but if I wanted something done and I wanted someone else to do it that was better than me, I would do it, but I would do it really badly. And
So
then
it'd frustrate them to do it.
yeah,
That's pretty
Isn't that
I'll
a
say
saying?
silly.
Like on the internet, it's faster to get an answer if you say something wrong than if you ask a question.
oh yeah,
Yep.
that's very true. Of course,
You need to do it very confidently, though.
Look, this is the classic fog death ball we're seeing right here, where you clump
Yeah.
all your units together because it's fog. And I think they might fight.
TimeKey usually plays fog like that, like the giant mega blob of death.
I guess TimeKey learned it from Advanced Wars. Where,
I don't know. I
that's
mean,
what you do.
feel
And
like
TimeKey
in
plays
Wargroove
Advanced.
you can, like, if you know your opponent has tendencies to do it, you can counterplay it. So,
Well, you front switch, right?
like with a thief, for example. Let's see if
Yeah,
Derrick
I would-
gets it.
That's fair.
There we go.
Yeah, exactly what you're talking about. Crazy.
I mean,
And I
Sure.
guess you can also have your own mega death blob and, like, be ready for it, I suppose.
Derrick did get the thief, but is also going into what I think is a superior blob, so it looks like he's gonna lose
They
a lot of
got first
value.
strike though.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was-
and
yeah,
Groove.
I mean, yeah, they do have groove, but that was a pretty, all things considered, that was a pretty nice
So
first
do you
strike.
show you have Groove to scare them, or do you not show you have Groove to surprise them?
I think the surprise is just inherently stronger. Unless you think you're not going to win the engagement, right? If you're scaring them, you think you're going to lose, and if you're trying to hide it, you think you're going to win the fight.
Well, looks like you can't kill Tenri because you blocked the tile in front of her.
So unfortunate.
Wait, let's see. Yeah. Twins might die though. Tenri is
Yeah.
rude.
Could be dangerous.
there's a bunch of blockers though, and a mage heal. Yeah, I think they'll be okay.
Well, it's still Tenri.
They're
And the
so
blockers
lucky.
are kind of fake.
There's like weak knights too.
Balloon is a fake blocker there.
I don't know. I think if Derrick can find a way to disengage safely, it's like the econ's just so much more in their favor by this point.
I think they lacked anything that was like heavy hitting to do a proper lethal there. Like you've got the 2 knight suicides, but that's really it.
True. I didn't notice. I assumed they would have like some big unit.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, even though like the fight, actually that was like a relatively even trade. Although like right now they're probably about to take a bunch more damage, especially because Twins is actually almost a tier 2, but they got a
don't get
thief
it
steal,
now, right?
so like you have to keep that in mind. Like, I'm technically
a
up
one
on
money, yeah.
value. If I just drag this out long enough, the thief's gonna keep getting value.
I wonder.
It's on the.
I
it's
mean,
on the
TimeKey
long-
could also be tracking like how many bullets the rifle has, and like know that this turn is fine.
That's also true, yeah.
But
I mean,
Okay, so
in
they're using
Instinct,
this
it's
for-
kind of hard to do that.
I disagree with this, mostly because I don't think it's. I think you get less value out of healing your stuff than you do dealing damage with groove. But I
Yeah.
guess like
I
if you
mean,
have to.
But TimeKey is like is not a throw fire and get the damage kind of guy. Even if the emblem dies, they really like having the thing stay up for multiple turns. And I think it's harder to do it in fog. So
I think you wanna just attack and throw it in the middle so it does like both damage and healing.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
more
what I
of
like.
a Unga Bunga, throw the fire down.
When it's
kinda
fire, that's what you do, you Unga Bunga, throw the fire down. But when it's
I mean,
like tier 2,
when it's tier 2 as well, I do that. I mean, usually when I have tier 2, it's because I didn't use tier 1 because my enemy was too scared.
but like when it's tier 1, like fire you want to throw in their formation and you don't want it to touch yours. Water you want to throw in your formation and like where it's super safe. And tier 2 is like you want to throw it in the middle, like somewhere in your wall maybe if you go for a front
Well,
wall.
Well, you
not
throw
really.
your-
It's not really in the middle. It's more like you want to try to do both, which isn't
Yeah.
the same.
I still say this fire is the stronger effect because the healing is nice, but I feel like you get a
Oh yeah,
little more
almost nobody
valuable.
uses
Yeah,
water.
healing is just weaker than damage in Wargroove.
Especially since there's like no overheal or anything in this game. It's you're capped,
Well-
and most units will not be weak.
Well, damage
Well-
hits everything and healing only hits damage stuff.
That's true.
Yeah. Although healing is like pretty easy to do if like your units don't get finished off. So if you just throw fire but don't have a follow-up attack, then it's not that much. Still probably better than healing. Although I guess TimeKey is getting a lot of healing here.
I suppose it's a lot of free gold, basically.
But this was basically a water.
Yeah. They had to waste not
One-
damaging the
no,
other
it
side.
hit like one mage at the start. It did 20% damage.
Okay, it looks like they at least grabbed another veil.
Also, I feel like this might be a time. Like sometimes you want to get value out of the group, but it's also a slow healing. So like, TimeKey didn't heal a sword, for example, which like you can heal in one turn, or you can just like wait 3 turns with the sword doing nothing. So it's kind of like there is a trade-off to waiting for the heals. And the trade-off was that TimeKey was predictably staying in that area for quite a while.
Ooh. Never mind. The rifle.
You
is,
also give time
damaged.
to your opponent to like reinforce their army, I suppose. So you gotta be ready to play for the very long game if you're using a groove like that.
The long game like Time Nikon, so. But those are some nice pickups. But Derrick is just up so much Icon at this point, right?
Yeah, he's been ahead on Vils for a while. He's got the Thief Steel as well that's going to go back at some point. But TimeKey isn't out of it yet. And I mean, Twins are slowly building up to a second groove, so.
But has Derek been able to use groove at all? I think that's like kind of a big thing.
No, but
Like,
Tenri tier 2 is pretty good too, so
fair
I mean
enough.
you probably would rather like use 2 Tenri tier 1s, but it's not like Tenri tier 2 is terrible compared to 2 tier 1s.
It's been 4 turns of the thief slowly waddling back.
Yep, second Thief here as well. That's going to try and go for something at some point. And Tenri actually very close to having tier 2, so.
So tier 2 is actually pretty goated for lethals, right?
Yeah, it does a lot of damage.
But TimeKey is playing very safe with Sion.
And
Okay, fully healed up though, so they've got a lot of the value from
Yeah,
Crystal.
the groove will not proc another time unless you mage heal it here.
I don't even
feels
think it's
like-
worth mage healing because everything's like basically healthy at this point.
No,
goes for
okay.
Mage Heal.
You could have just
Mage heal.
mage healed your units, you know.
There is a fun trick you can do if you
Or,
can
like,
get
or I
the-
guess you could have just reinforced your units. That would have been cheaper.
Well, I guess they know like you can't really. It's like you either attack into that area or you're gonna attack HQ. So I guess it's just
Yeah.
that's like in front of HQ, right? So it's like they're preventing the death ball from just rolling you immediately, which I guess is the reason why they're doing this.
I mean, Maybe TimeKey just wanted to play Emmerich when they picked twins.
There's a lot of mages.
I was gonna say, there's a fun trick you can do if you have the tier 1 up in time where, like, the tier 2 and tier 1 can heal each other. And it's only those specific ones that work. So you can actually get, like, basically almost infinite value out of keeping them alive with each other.
Although they decay faster than they heal each other, so you still need to mage heal from time to time.
So are the fog matches always like this long as grinding? Because then maybe
No,
you just play
not
Caesar
always.
and you super
No,
win.
It's also very
it's-
frequent that a commander just dies, and that's the
Yeah. But in general, the rule of thumb is if both players are playing safe, it takes longer than normal because you have to basically assume that the worst case scenario, right? You gotta assume that your CO can die if you just move him forward. So
Yeah. I mean, Derrick has the eco lead, but like they're building frogs instead of golems, so it's not like it's gonna transition super fast. And I mean, frogs are super fun and stuff, but
well, I feel like
they're
you
not
don't
the most efficient way to take advantage of an econ lead.
Yeah, although, all that said, we're seeing a big attack here.
Yeah.
Couple dogs going in, picking off some units.
You could go in to hit the crystal, I think. Well, not anymore, but that was an option, I think.
I feel like one of the big uses of frogs is like as a mid game tool to pull stuff closer for free, right? To get past areas, which like after a certain point, you're so big that you don't really need that anymore, And I feel like we're starting to get to where like the blobs are so big that it doesn't really take that long to get into position where you need it,
I mean, frogs do mean that you can't wall the enemy out.
That's true.
Because, like, the frog will just pull your wall out. And that archer was pretty exposed. So, an invitation for TimeKey to go in.
Yeah, this is a big attack. They're getting a lot of damage. Twins have a second tier 2? Okay.
TimeKey really does want to do that. Oh, wait, it's another tier 2.
Yeah.
Can you check the health on that emblem? Because it might still die. Yeah, I think it still dies.
At 30? Doesn't it
Yeah.
only take 25?
Thought they took like 33.
Oh,
We'll see, I guess.
well,
But yeah.
this one is gonna die.
Both should die this turn, I guess.
Maybe tier 1 is 33 and tier 2 is 25?
Oh, keep an eye on it. I think last turn it was 30 as well, but there was a mage heal.
Yes, it might be 25 then.
Saykoya, do you know if it stacks, if the healing overlaps?
It doesn't stack when it's two tier 2s.
What about if you do a tier 1 and a tier 2?
Yeah, like Barrett said that earlier, like you can do that.
Okay, yeah.
Frog's getting some nice value, pulling stuff as required. Frogs on fog are like really powerful. Oh wait, yeah, so it is 25 a turn because it was at 30 and now it's at 5. So
Yeah, so you need 2 mage heals here to keep it alive. Finally.
or another tier 1.
Is it even worth? I feel like it is kind of worth now that fighting's ensuing. But like, it's like that's a big price to
Well,
pay.
you're kind of
Ooh.
starting to fight outside of it too, so...
Also,
I mean, I
looks
guess
like
they didn't
time is
know
just
of-
dead.
Yeah, TimeKey is just dead now.
I keep
They're
saying it
closer.
though.
They could live. They do have balloon, but there's
Tenri
so much.
Choo and frogs, yeah. That's
Oh,
like,
okay.
no way the twins survive this.
The dog just walks forward, hits something, gets vision on the army, and he's just like,
It's
oh.
like, oh.
It's like, 2 frogs, I think I'm dead here.
I mean,
So-
that was fine. It wasn't that long a game, right?
18 turns. It's still a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, actually 18's a bit
Oh,
reasonable.
it's fine.
18's pretty reasonable for Fog.
Probably like on the longer end on this map because it's not like a big fog map either.
I've heard it's quite grindy, but I guess that is also based on the hideout. Thieves got a
It's
lot of
also
value in
because
that game.
TimeKey plays like that too, you know.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean that was fine. It was an interesting game. I think TimeKey, they're saying in chat, they like went for the center and didn't really fight over the sides, and the sides are where the money is. So yeah, you're gonna fall behind if you don't fight where the money is. And yeah, Derrick was just ahead the whole time as far as economy goes.
I think the critical there was being that passive with the first tier 2.
Yeah, I agree. I think that should have been a more aggressive, going for the fire damage as opposed to playing it safe and healing up.
Or at least, some combination of the two. You can't just have all your army be passive and not get punished for it.
Well, well played to Derrick. We're gonna go to the next one.